So I'd like to call the meeting to order. And I'm Sonia Lang, co-president of the Rolando Park Community Council. Want to let you know that our meeting minutes are posted on rolandopark.org website. And this is also being recorded and on Facebook. So watch the recordings. Okay. So we're going to go with dues and memberships. So let me bring that up and I'll give a quick update. So as of today, we have 31 renewals and 12 new members. So 43 members this month, okay, with a total of that's 111 members total that we have right now. Yeah. And we have dues of $504 come in and donations of $186 $86.33. So that's our report there. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to our community announcements. Jennifer, we have Jennifer first, and then we'll have Lynn afterwards. Jennifer, any updates? Oh.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. I'm sorry, I can't see. All right. Welcome back, everyone. It's nothing like a whole bunch of meetings. Sorry, we're not there in person. I just got back from work, but I think in the future we'll try to make it to the meetings in person. We wanted to give a big shout out to Oliver, who is on the Zoom, and Renee for setting up our Redwood Village Neighborhood Watch subcommittee. And we were able to attend their last two meetings. They just had a meeting on the 3rd, and the next meeting is on October 7th. So keep an eye out for that information. And like I said, they're on the Zoom. So if you have any questions, you can hit Oliver up. And that's about it. I think the cleanup information, Lynn, I'm pretty sure you'll be going over that.
Oh yeah, you know.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then I'll stop there. Thanks, everyone. Nice to be back. I do have one membership for you. I got some cash from Peter, and I don't see him here. So I'll get that to you, Lynn, and his information.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jennifer. Okay. You ready? All right. If it would just show up. Just show up. Oh yeah. I tried that. Sorry, folks. All right.
So you should share your screen,
Right.
maybe. No.
No.
You have the permissions to share on it?
Well, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, it's on my screen. You know what? It's on my screen.
Why
So
isn't it there?
Look at the. Yeah.
Can I blame you?
Yes, you can blame me.
Yeah. I feel so much better
Because
now.
of you. When I was playing with
Yeah. There it is. There we go. Okay. I can't see it, but well, now I can't see it so that I can read it.
you can go to the actual, just go to the actual.
I know, and it won't. It doesn't come up front.
Okay, so use my.
Except I can't move pages.
There you go. Oh, you can't. That's right.
Okay, getting better by the minute.
I
Sorry,
know.
folks.
There you go.
We see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, everyone. So I want to start off by saying that we have some vacant board positions, and of course, we're looking to fill these. These are 2-year positions. We need a secretary, and we also need a treasurer again, unfortunately. And we can also use a member at large. Member at large doesn't have quite the responsibility of keeping track of cash and minutes, but they do lead a project. We're always looking for a member at large who wants to lead a community project, take the lead on something. We've done things, membership drives, things like that, where we've had a member at large run that. So if any, and you can co-share these positions. That's the, we will take co-shares any day of the week, which is why Sonia and I are still co-presidents here.
Right.
So if you're interested at all, just contact us after the meeting or send an email to us, contact us at rolandopark.org, and we'll be happy to talk to anybody about it, okay?
We can use the help.
Yeah. I'm going to be putting some stuff in the chat after I finish here. Tomorrow night is the Eastern Area Communities Planning Group, and I usually like to let people know in case you want to go. But tomorrow night, we have an action item for University Avenue, and that's to establish 2-hour time limits between College and Cartagena on both sides. So we will be making a recommendation for it tomorrow night. And if you drive down that section, it would be pretty obvious why it's needed. There's some people that are parking there 72 hours at a time. I believe the person who asked for this is a small business owner. He doesn't get any turnover because no one can park outside of his business. So I'm pretty sure we're all going to say yes tomorrow night. It's a very, very good idea. Whoops, let me go ahead. Oh, we went to the end. That didn't work. So, and Wednesday night, the Mid-City Community Plan Update has another meeting at the Kroc Center. You can also Zoom. I'll drop the Zoom link into the chat for anyone who wants to attend. We're covering some material Wednesday night on plans, parks and mobility choices for this area. We didn't cover everything at our last meeting. And the reason this is important, if you can see this at all, we're Rolando Park, we're that orangish yellow area down here. The small amount of green up there on the upper right side is Rolando and El Cerrito. And because they border El Cajon Boulevard, they actually have a little bit of green. They're walkable. The first thing you see about the Eastern Area Planning Group, and that's us, that's Oak Park, Webster, Redwood Village, Rolando Park, El Cerrito, and Rolando. We're the least walkable planning group in the mid-city area. If you look at all the green, that's all centered around El Cajon Boulevard. City Heights has a fair amount of walkability. So does Normal Heights. So does Kensington. We're the least walkable, which means people have to get in their cars to go anywhere. Someday we're supposed to be a city of villages, and that's not going to happen if we have to get in our car and walk everywhere. So I just want people to be aware that that's something we're talking about. And we're also talking about parks tomorrow night, because that's the other area that the Eastern area is very deficient in. You can't really tell from this. Joint use parks, they actually count the parking lot as parked space. I'm not kidding. There's a small green area up here, and that's actually open space, designated open space. It sits at a 90-degree slope. It's right behind Cartagena. That counts, these things count as points, park points. That's why it's so important. And this big green blob here in the middle, that's Choyas Lake, which eats up all the park points in the Eastern area. So what you don't see, if you look down here at the southern portion, Webster does not have a park. Redwood Village doesn't have a park. Rolando Park has a joint use park. El Cerrito has a joint use park at Man Middle, but it's not even open to the community, even though it's supposed to be, because it's being used for outside sports all the time. So those are some of the things we're starting to look at. The community plan update is going to be another 2 years in the process. So part of this is looking, these are existing conditions. And what we want is a vision for what we want for our communities over the next 25 years. The last time this plan was done was 1998. And it was deliberately a slow growth plan because this area is deficient in infrastructure and parks. And it turned out to be a no growth plan because in 26 years, we've seen zero growth here. We literally in the eastern area since 1998 have grown less than 1,000 people. It's not good. So on to fun stuff. We're doing 2 cleanups on September 21st, and you ask how we can do that. And that's because Bettina Rossa from Redwood Village, who normally captains with me on cleanups, is going to be at Choyas Lake on Saturday. And Sonia and I are going to be captaining over here at Xena Canyon. And we're probably going to start a little earlier because 9 seems like it's going to be really hot. But I'll drop the chat. You can go in the link into the chat. You can pre-register for it, either site. Just come on out if you can. It's from 9 to 12, and I'll put the link in the chat for you. And this is the last thing I wanted to just mention. If you're on the D9 mailing list, you saw in the council members' last newsletter, they're already collecting ideas for the budget for this coming fiscal year. And so we have till September 20th. I'll put the link in the chat. And this is just sort of a request from us. This will be the 3rd year that we're still looking to get trees on University. At some point, Sandag is going to be starting the bikeway project. And there isn't a landscaping plan for the eastern area from 54th to Aragon. There do have 1 tree planned between College and Aragon. I'm insulted, but that's what it is. We'd like to see, we asked for 160. We're hoping to get maybe not even half that, but just some trees on University. So when you fill out other things and look at what you'd like to see in the budget, hint, hint, you could drop that in the comment and make a suggestion that they revisit this again. And that's all I have. Thanks.
All right. Well,
You need a dumpster at the Xena Canyon?
A very small one. We don't need it this year because we just had brush abatement and we just had a homeless encampment.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Lynn. So next will be our public comments on non-agenda items. We ask that everyone holds that to 2 minutes. Anybody on Zoom or here present have any comments, any non-agenda items?
Is that pass on the agenda?
Yes, that's.
That is the agenda.
I'll introduce myself. I'm brand new to coming back to Rolando Park after renting my house for 10 years. So I'm
All
glad
right.
to be back in the neighborhood. And I would love to be a part of the cleanup group for College Avenue. I used to go out there on my own and I'm thinking of doing that. So I'm putting it out there. I saw on the website that there's a cleanup in December, but maybe something sooner would be great. So I'm just putting that out there. I might do something on my own, and I think I became a member just now too.
All right. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Anything else?
Oliver.
Okay. Go ahead, Oliver.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to give a real quick rundown of what's happened in the last 3 months while you guys were in recess. We had 2 successful Redwood Village Neighborhood Watch program cleanups. We had a coffee meet and greet that was hosted there in, near the, what is it called? The University Plaza there. University, I'm screwing this up here, but you know where the Food for Less is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was there. We actually got quite a bit of interest in the Neighborhood Watch program. We have a total amount of 41 people, which is a lot of people for us. We're growing, and I've had a wonderful team of people that have been, of the utmost well, I'm screwing this up too. They've just been very helpful in getting the membership up for Neighborhood Watch. So anyway, very thankful for that. And that's all I've got right now. Thank you.
Anyone else? One here? No? Everybody? All right.
Introduce myself,
Okay, go ahead.
Melanie.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Melanie Briones from the County of San Diego. Just wanted to reintroduce myself to this group. I've been here before, but just wanted to say hello and just reshare my role as the local opioid treatment authority, the LOTA or LOTA. I'm really grateful to be part and take part of your monthly meetings. And I sometimes come with Mark Gonzalo from the SOAPMAT clinic or come alone to these groups. My role at the County of San Diego Behavioral Health Services is to be an external liaison for the county to hear from community residents and any external stakeholder who has any interest or questions or concerns about our opioid treatment programs at the county. So I'm the one you would connect with to find the best contact person within the county to get your questions answered. So just wanted to reintroduce myself. It's been a while since I've been here. Please keep me on your list so that I can be invited. I'm always interested to hear what the community is doing, what you all are up to, and to help in any way. So I just again wanted to reintroduce myself. Thanks so much.
Melanie, do you have an opening date yet for SOAPMAT? You know?
They should be. That's where Mark is this evening. He's working on the opening of the SOAPMAT clinic in the central region, which is in your area.
Right.
And I believe it's going to be opening in October. So they're going to be working on getting you an invitation to that opening.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
I'll get you a more solid date if when I learn about it, because I don't have that either.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I'm scoping out to see if I see any other hand. Nope, I don't see any others. Great. Well, thank you. All right, so next we'll move on to our community reports. And first we'll start out with Lucero Maganda for the mayor's office.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. First, I have a question. Do you all have AC over there in person?
Do we have?
Yes, we have AC, but I'm still
it's on
going.
right now.
I think it's stopped.
Yeah. Cycling, it cycles on. and
Because
off.
we were cool for a minute and now it's a little warm, but.
Okay, I'm jealous. I just wanted to say that. Had to take the meeting from home today and I don't have AC. My apartment is vintage, so I'm struggling a little. So just jealous of you all with AC. But hello, everyone. Good evening. Lucero Maganda, Community Representative from Mayor Gloria's office. I have several updates to share with you all, and I'll follow up with a written update mailed so that you all don't have to take notes. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But the first one is regarding the city's draft for the citywide cultural plan update. So currently the city is seeking public input on its draft cultural plan titled The Creative City. This is a plan to set a strategic framework for advancing arts, culture, and creativity in San Diego's diverse community over the next 10 years, and to position the city and Trans-Border region as an equitable place of inspiration and prosperity. There was just a couple of days ago this weekend, a Creative City open house at the Comic-Con Museum. So if you missed it, no worries. There is an opportunity from now until October 12th to provide direct feedback, and I'll drop the link in the chat as well as sharing it in my written report, but just want to make sure I mention that something to encourage folks to participate and give feedback. The second update is regarding the new fire chief. As you may know, the new fire chief has been officially sworn in as of last month. The mayor had the privilege of swearing in the new fire chief, Robert Logan II, as San Diego's 19th fire chief. The ceremony was held at the Bayview Baptist Church in Encanto. The new chief, Logan, has dedicated nearly 3 decades of his life to the safety and well-being of our community. I do encourage you all, if you haven't gotten the chance to meet with the new fire chief, he is making his rounds through different community groups and events. If you get the chance, say hello, introduce yourself. And if there's any opportunities to facilitate any meetings with him, please let me know and I can connect you all with his team. Another update, sort of on the same topic of public safety. Wanted to share that San Diego remains one of the safest big cities. The latest data released from Major Cities Chiefs Association reveals that violent crimes in our city continue to trend downward. I'll just share some quick stats from the report. Homicides have decreased by 47%. Rapes are down by 17%, robberies dropped by 6%, and aggravated assaults have declined by 1%. Since the rollout earlier this year, the system has aided over 160 events. So this is from the smart streetlight system, leading to 117 arrests and the recovery of 6 guns and an approximate estimate of 1.6 million in recovered stolen goods. Last update I wanted to share with you all is an update regarding Assembly Bill 3227, which is headed down to the governor's desk. This Assembly Bill 3227 is known as the Streamlining Stormwater Channel Maintenance Act. So this was in partnership with Assemblymember David Alvarez. Not sure if there's a state rep in the meeting, but just want to make sure touched on that. This was sponsored by the city of San Diego, and the bill passed the state legislature last week. And it's essentially designed to cut through red tape and allowing San Diego and other California cities to move more effectively to maintain storm channels. As you all remember, we experienced flooding earlier this year, and so this is continues to be one of our top priorities. The bill, in conjunction with Assemblymember Alvarez's AB 2501, authorizes local governments to fund technical assistance and permitting for stormwater projects, which means that San Diego is better positioned to manage the challenges of climate change and more severe impacts that we're seeing from extreme weather conditions. Again, that is a lot of information, so I have the written report. I will go ahead and send it via email so you all can read it, and if there's any questions, happy to answer.
Any questions? I see no hands. Thank you, Lucero, and try to keep cool.
I'll also drop my contact information in the chat if you have any questions afterwards.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up, Willow Lance from Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs' office. Yeah, I'm sure.
I will move. Hi, it's nice to see you all. So this past August was district work period. So the Congresswoman was in town the entire month. She spoke with some small businesses, joined community events, and spoke to some constituents about what she's doing at the federal level for all of us back in Congress. Before she left on Saturday, she got to join the Village Green Welcome Back celebration. A special thanks to Councilmember Shawnee Rivera's office for helping us coordinate. We had a great time. It was wonderful to talk to folks and recognize all the great work that everybody's doing to help these folks get back on their feet. The other thing I wanted to share was that the Congresswoman held a service academy night. So if you know a high schooler who's thinking about attending a service academy, they're going to need a nomination from their congressional person. Our office is taking nominations now. The application can be found on our website, sarahjacobs.house.gov. The application is due November 2nd, but have them reach out sooner rather than later because there's some things that we can help them with along the way. The other thing I wanted to share was that our office is accepting submissions for the Congressional App Challenge. So if you know a middle schooler or a high schooler who's interested in STEM and has an app that they've already coded or they're working on now, they can submit that app to our office to be recognized congressionally. It's a big national cross-country challenge. It's really good for college admissions and sort of just recognizing how important STEM is. And those applications are due October 24th. Again, all the information that I've shared can be found on our website, sarahjacobs.house.gov. And then the final thing I have to share with you all is that if you're having issues with the IRS, VA, any sort of federal agency giving you a hard time, reach out to me and sometimes we can help mitigate those issues.
Any questions for Willow? Anyone?
Do you have a flyer for the Service Academy?
I can get you one, Lynn. I know that you guys already reposted.
I did,
The
but
thing?
I'd like to repost.
Yeah,
it again.
I will get you the digital version.
Okay, great, thank you.
Well, thank you, Willow.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna move on next to Officer Joshua Cummings.
Yay, Josh.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see everybody again.
Yes.
Been a hot summer, hot week.
Yes.
This is not very cool either, Lucero. I'm just saying.
Right?
Drink water. So, just a few updates. It's been kind of a busy summer. Our guys have been really busy. There's been a lot going on. I understand the community love knows about Mike. He did pass away. I'm not sure if that was an overdose, a heat-related dehydration issue. I mean, it's just unfortunate that we couldn't get him to come to the table and accept some help, before something like this happened. So, I know everyone knows about that. My focus recently has been on 60th Street, and Rock Street. Rock Street has been, between 60th behind the apartments in Lantana, and then 6,000 Rock Street, if you will, between College and 60th. It's been kind of a hotbed for transient activity along with the water tower. The water tower remains clear. Everything remains great up there. I've gotten environmental services out 3 different times to clean up the encampments off of Rock, thanks to Roberto as well. Roberto has been a great help in some of those situations where I couldn't get the necessary coverage I needed for environmental services, and I felt like it took too long. And so I reached out to Roberto. He helped me. So thank you for that, Roberto. I'm paying attention.
We can't hear you, could you?
Yeah, I'm paying attention diligently to that intersection, that area.
Don't get too close.
When it
or
comes
there'll
to
be a note.
60th and University. So we're working on that. Outside of 60th and University, I've been working with Oliver and the Neighborhood Watch, of course. I've also been working with Danny. I'm not sure if Danny, yep, he's on there. Coming to a resolution with the problematic person over there, along with the Neighborhood Watch assisting with that. If you haven't heard, the new chief is in place. Over the summer, our department went through a huge reorganization. It's a completely different command structure. I think it's a good thing. I think it's time for a change. And in addition to that, we have a new captain for Mid-City. So we have Captain Martha Sines. She is new, but she's not new. She was here as a lieutenant. She grew up in the neighborhood here, and now she's back as a captain. So she's really involved in the community. She's really engaged. She really understands the key issues that the community deals with and the frustrations that we all have. And so she's a good fit here at Mid-City. I don't, with our captains at Mid-City Division, unfortunately, it's a pretty quick rotation. So I'm not sure how long she'll be around. Bill, moving forward, I want to bring something up, and I've been talking to the Neighborhood Watch about this a little bit. And what I want the community to know what's going on with the police department. I want the community to understand, follow our police officer association, follow what's happening with the Commission of Police Practices, be involved, because if you guys aren't involved, it's your community. And if things, don't go the right way, or these policies change and things happen, our numbers, as Lucero reported, are relatively good right now, right? Our homicides are down, or certain crimes are down. I mean, yes, there's a certain aspect of that isn't reported, and we'll never capture that because not everyone calls the police and not everyone desires prosecution. However, our numbers are still trending downward, with some of the violent crime, and that's great. But we can't let that change. We need to continue where we're going. We need to change in positive directions, right? We need to repeal and figure out a better way with Prop 47, which I think is happening. All the mayors are on board, all the officials are on board to bring Prop 47 back, and I think it's Prop 36, I believe it's going to be, and it's changed. So there's going to be different variations in the way those crimes are prosecuted when it comes to theft and certain controlled substances. So that's a good thing. We're starting to move in the right direction. But what I want to go through is just ask a couple questions and then we can talk about it. But I just want to build people's awareness. And over the summer, it started to amp up again for whatever reason. But a certain, commission, we'll just call it the Commission of Police Practices, it recommends a new pursuit policy that prohibits SDPD officers from engaging in a pursuit with fentanyl dealers. Another one, pursuit policy will prohibit SDPD officers from pursuing battery suspects. This includes unlawful force on an innocent person. So we show up, you just got punched in the face, something happened, you got assaulted, the suspect's driving away, you're like, he's right there, you know, we can no longer engage in a pursuit if this policy were to change. And we can't apprehend that person. Another one, under the Commission of Police Practices recommendations, STPD officers are prohibited from engaging in pursuits with individuals who have violated domestic violence or restraining orders. So someone has a deranged significant other, bad things happen. I understand not everything is perfect. They're going back to their house. They're doing different things. They're protected by a restraining order. We get there again, the car takes off after they broke the window, broke into the car, whatever it was. We can't chase that person. Okay. That's a problem because in my experience, I go to those calls that come in and again and again and again, and they just escalate in violence and more property, and it gets more dangerous for us. In a new Commission of Police Practices policy moves forward, SDPD officers will not be allowed to engage in vehicle pursuits with DUI suspects. CPP policy will prohibit SDPD officers from vehicle pursuits with human trafficking, pimping, and pandering suspects. So these are just some things that are being floated around. I think they were being floated around before. I've started to see the trend of these things being brought back up. And I just
perpetrators that are promoting these.
It's the Commission of Police Practices, and that's where I urge you guys to be involved in what that is. Okay. It's been that board, I full transparency. It doesn't bother me that there's not a police officer on that board. It doesn't bother me that there's not a sibling of a police officer or a child of a police officer. It doesn't bother me at all, but we have to have a board of diversity of citizens from Rolando Park and different, with different backgrounds. We can't have, sheer activists on a board or sheer police officers. It needs to be balanced. We need to have a good conversation and we need to have a common sense approach, right? When it comes to these things, because I'm telling you, people don't do my job because we don't want to help people. No one signs up to do this job to tell you, I can't help you. I can't hold this person accountable or bring this person to justice, or I can't, do these things. When people wear this uniform show up and have to say, I can't help you, that goes against every moral fiber in the being of a person that wants to do this profession. So when it gets to a point where policies start becoming morally conflicted with our officers, right? And they have to tell you that I can't help you and I'm sorry, I can't, there's nothing I can do. They start looking outward at other agencies because they're going to go somewhere where they feel supported. They're going to go somewhere where they can make a difference, and they can go somewhere where they can be impactful and where they can help you. And so all I ask in this whole conversation that I'm bringing this up is just please pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening with the Commission of Police Practices. Pay attention to our POA, whether it's good or bad or whatever it is. Be involved, be engaged, know what's happening because we're your police department. We're here to serve you. We want to help you. We want to help the community. But if I take these things out and I put them on myself, I can't help anybody. And I can't. And that's troubling for me, right? And that's troubling for all my guys. And we're already having a retention problem. We're already having a recruiting problem. We're already having lots of issues and lots of problems with keeping the manpower, right? And something like this would wreak havoc on
Do they
our
give
retention.
any
So,
kind of like reasoning behind these suggestions?
I'm sure they do. They have their own meetings. They have their own boards. They have all their own stuff. So I'm just saying, understand what's happening with the Commission of Police Practices, understand what the recommendations are, truly think about it and understand how that impacts the community because it's going to have a devastating impact. These numbers are good. We're going in the right direction. But if those policies change and things like that, it's going to have a devastating effect, unfortunately. Because look at Oakland. Okay, the governor himself came out and said Oakland needs to change their policy because Oakland did this. Oakland went to no pursuits and no this and no that. And so when the governor ordered California Highway Patrol officers to go into Oakland because they're having such an issue with rampant crime and businesses, and, against persons, against businesses, against residents, everything. The CHP's number one thing, what they found out is things changed when the suspects were being pursued and being apprehended and being held accountable.
Yeah.
And so the governor himself has come out and it's on our POA, and I only know that because I follow the POA, and said Oakland should think about changing their pursuit policy back to being able to apprehend. So I'm just, again, I want to throw it out there. I want you guys to be engaged. I want you to be educated. I want you to understand these things and concepts and what's happening. And I don't know what the big push about with our POA and why it's all being brought up, but please just pay attention, educate yourself, be involved. because I don't want to see the impact it will have on my fellow officers. So I think I've taken up all my time. I'm gonna have to digress here.
No worries. Anything else?
Does anyone have any questions for me?
Tina has had her hand raised on the line for a while, so.
Bettina, did you have a question for John?
Okay.
All right, anybody else?
Question we asked about the other night when those 12 people were just standing around drinking and
Where was that at?
Go ahead.
there was like 3 or 4 cars parked on the opposite side of my house, but on that side of the canyon.
By the I was wondering, I saw a bunch of trash out there today. when I
Yeah.
drove by.
Yeah, and that was as a result of these, probably people, I'd say in their 20s and 30s, just hanging out,
So I guess.
talking and drinking, leaving all their
Yes.
glass bottles broken over there. I mean, I picked up all the, what you probably saw. But today when I walked here, I still saw a couple of glass bottles broken in front of that other house.
Did anyone call an emergency number?
I went to call the non-emergency number because then they started shouting and it looked like they were gonna escalate to a fight. But by the time I got to the call, they broke it up themselves and left. So they
Got it.
started-
They were there for a couple hours, though, huh?
What time was that at?
This was 10 at night, 9, 10 at night.
Past my time, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would highly encourage, if, as soon as you see the cars, if it becomes a pattern, right? You see the same cars, the same people. We don't want a group embedding themselves because they think they have a nice quiet little area that's not in front of a house and they can go hang out after buying a 12-pack from the 7-Eleven.
Right.
We don't want that, right? We just unfortunately had the unfortunate circumstance we had, but unfortunately, it's, that's no longer an issue. Let's move on and let's try to hold this now and stabilize that and let's not let some group get deep rooted.
Okay. Yeah, because there's some tagging on our poles that are lining the canyon.
Yeah, we don't want that. So please, as soon as you see the car pull up.
That's where they were hanging out, in
People,
front of where
yeah,
poles are tagged.
make the call. Make the non-emergency call immediately. Hey, there's people hanging out over here. They're casing, they're drinking, whatever they're
Yeah,
doing.
and they were
Report that.
definitely making trips back and forth to the 7-Eleven.
Of course. So
Yeah.
it seems to be an area where they think that they're not gonna have any attention. So if
Yeah.
I happen to be here later, I'll cruise through there a few times with the floodlights and that usually dries that up pretty quickly. But if
Okay.
we allow it to sit
Right.
and they think no one's watching, it'll become a place where we'll have more and more cars and more activity.
Okay,
And we don't want that.
All right.
sounds good.
Alrighty, well, thank you all.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
All right.
Josh.
All right.
Good job.
So we're going to go to our next representative, which is Rebecca. For our city council.
No, you're.
Try to fall here. Good evening, everyone. Roberto Mayor, Council Rep, Internship Manager, Council President Elo Rivera's office. A few updates. First and foremost, thank you to Lynn and Sonia, bearing in the heat. It was a great event at Village Green. As you know, 7 months ago, flood devastated that part of Rolando Park, and ever since then, from day one, Lynn and the board, Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs' office, and our office have been extremely involved in getting those folks relief. And now that they're home, we threw a little celebration for them. So it was great. Thanks to the Congresswoman. Thank you to Lynn for being there. So we really appreciate it. A couple updates. I've been getting a lot of phone calls still about our dear friend Buck Johnson over there on Rolando Boulevard. So Lucero and I have been in communication. We're in communication actually this afternoon. And we kind of are talking next steps on how to elevate this. I know Lucero is working on her end to elevate the issue. We have been taking consistent pictures. We're also looking at partnering up with Officer Cummings to see if we can tow some of those vehicles to send kind of a message and a tone that this is not acceptable in our neighborhoods at all. So we're going to work on that. I know it's been a little frustrating and delayed with the process, but be rest assured that we are on top of that and we continue to monitor that. One of the other things that Lynn mentioned was the community survey. So we had a community survey that came out last week in our daily newsletter. I'll be adding it this week into my community newsletter, and I'll be going around actually with our interns canvassing the area. We'll be asking folks door to door, what's their needs, what kind of resources do they want, what is something in the short term that we as an office could bring to them. So it's a very hyper-specific kind of survey. It is a little long, so apologies for that, but we really want to capture everyone's kind of thoughts and minus in that, so that's there. A lot of encampments, as Officer Cummings mentioned, we got Rock Place, we got 58th, Choice Parkway. Thanks to the collaboration with Lucero, we have established, and Officer Cummings as well, ESD, the Environmental Services Department, is coming out every day. This is, I think, the first time I've heard of such thing, every day to Choice Parkway and removing waste in and around encampments, and also they're doing illegal dumping. They sent me detailed reports. Franklin, one of their deputy directors, sends me detailed reports to our offices and to Lucero about what's going on, and it gives the get it done report when it was closed and a picture. So we have all that data compiled, and they have been out there a lot. It is getting a slight little better. Obviously, Choice Parkway is a tit for tat. Officer Cummings knows that. The community knows that. But we rest assured we do have ESD out there every day. That has been confirmed in writing, and they've been committed for that. One of the things we are trying to do and trying to listen is doing a community walk. So a community walk, I've been preliminary discussions with Lynn on when we should do it, what time, what kind of block we should do it. A suggestion was in front of the school, in and around the high traffic areas. Happy to bring the council member to those walks. It's usually a pretty good conversation. So I want to make sure that you can get a chance to talk to Councilmember Hilo Rivera in our office. The last thing Lynn mentioned was the tree situation on University Avenue. To get an update about a couple hours ago from our dear friends at Urban Forestry Department. They did mention that they are working with Groundworks to install trees on the corridor wherever there's a right of way, but they have been given that permission from the city, and they are working to find details in there. If and when they need more information on more trees, once that gets settled, they're happy to provide that. They're also waiving the fee to plant the trees. So that is being waived completely for Groundworks to be able to plant those trees. They've also provided, I believe, plant weldings, or basically like the beginning of it. They're doing all that work and they're preparing for all that work. So once I have a more definitive timeline and exact knowledge of where things are at, definitely happy to share with the community. I know they've shared it with Groundworks. They haven't shared it with me quite yet, so I might give Leslie a call to see where that's at. But good news on that, we are getting trees. And I thank Lynn, and I thank the board, and I thank everyone in Redwood Village, John and Bettina and Jennifer and Bob Scott on the other side in Rolando Village for pushing this through, because it was hard, had hard conversations, but we're on our way. So happy to work that out. And then lastly, obviously, if you have any constituent concerns, please feel free to reach me. I've got my business cards. I'm pretty accessible. Don't call me on Sunday though, because I need a day off, right? But I'm happy to answer any questions, comments, concerns. The one last thing, I always say that, I always kid myself, because I always got one last thing all the time. Councilmember Hilo Rivera will be at the Eastern Area Planning Group tomorrow. He will be speaking. He will be taking my spot in the talking portion. We've told him we got to limit it to 3 minutes because we have a long schedule. But if you want to get to chat with them, I'd highly encourage you getting there 15 minutes before. He'll be there around 6:45. So if you want to chat with them, anything specific to Rolando, Redwood Village, let us know. So I know that was a lot, but any questions?
He's not planning on staying after the meeting tomorrow night, is he?
No.
Like,
He's
never
this will be long.
over until
Yeah,
9 o'clock. It's
yeah.
really late. But
Any questions?
so does anyone know the specific locations for trees?
I think Groundworks does, and I'm trying to get they have had conversations. They had a meeting last week to provide them that information. So it was late last week, so I have to circle back with them. They did provide those specifics through them. I'm just curious to see what that looks like. But they did say that the trees are on their way.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Roberta. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our presentation for today. So we have a representative from Cook and Smith. Schmid, right? Schmid. Consultant for the city of San Diego, Aida Castaneda.
There you go. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody.
Would you like a
For
chair?
waiting in the heat. I can manage if I can share space with you here.
Well,
Okay, this is the microphone, yes?
yes.
Cool. Okay. So let me put this into a share. Okay, we'll just breeze through. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Good afternoon again. My name is Aida Castañeda. I'm a sub with Cook and Schmidt. I have my own firm, Aida Castañeda Consulting. I've had the privilege of working with Cook and Schmidt as their subcontractor on this particular project. We've been going all around the city of San Diego to have this conversation with members of the local community. And this is really on Measure B, cost of study service. I know we're looking at enhancing our trash collection services, and we're going to endure this process for quite about 2 years. So as we go through this conversation, I want us to engage in diplomatic conversations. I know it often sparks a lot of controversy and a lot of fomented feelings about government, but I encourage us to be in a friendly space and encourage healthy dialogue as we go through this process in the next couple of years. So let's move through this guy. Oh. Okay, just to kind of give a quick overview about Measure B. I'm sure folks in this particular room are well aware of what passed back in 2022, but this really was an opportunity for allow the city to review the trash collection services and its fees. The potential fee for enhancement services based on public input. This also, the city will begin charging single family homes for trash collection services based on what we were able to repeal of the People's Ordinance back in 2022. So the cost of service will be determined on a few factors. Obviously, the baseline cost analysis for single family homes of collection pickup. Additional solid waste services will be based on public input. Also, depending on the fee structure that we're looking at, it could capture all, part, or none of the cost. We're also looking to investigate different discounting programs for lower income family members.
Are they taking into consideration how many people are in these single family homes that are creating trash?
You know, there's been a lot of conversation on if the city is going to also keep in mind the weights of the trash that some of these properties are picking up services to. So it's a good question and something that will be determined based on the feasibility study or the case study. I will
I don't
encourage
think
you.
it's fair for me to pay the same as somebody that's got a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house
It's fair.
that's got, 8 people in it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
a
good point.
single person in my house, not creating the same amount of trash.
And it's likely for homes that depending on how many people live there or if they have additional ADUs on their property, that they may be required to have.
There's one being built right now in my backyard.
Yeah.
Backyard with my neighbor.
And it's likely that, this cost of service study will analyze a lot of what that means and if people are required to have more trash cans than others, right? And we're also looking at different sizes of trash cans. So that also could
You
affect.
get a separate address?
Some of them do, some of them don't. So it really depend on a few things, if folks decide to ultimately have an address for those ADUs. But for example, in my own home, we have an ADU and it's a part of the whole home address. I live in National City though.
Yeah.
So then, if we can, let her go through her whole presentation,
Okay.
because she may answer your questions before, and then we'll take all the questions at the end.
Okay, so just kind of an overview, who's going to be impacted, and we know single family homes will be impacted. Renters of those homes with properties with 4 or less units. We know folks that already pay, of course. We have people that have condominiums, apartments, more than 4 units, residents, and also businesses. So we're looking at a few things that could enhance what we have currently. The trash bin provisions are in placement at no additional charge, increase recycling collections. I didn't quite realize that the city of San Diego only picks up recycling every other week. So it's possible that that could also change. The pickup of bulky items, and of course, other factors depending on community and public input. So this is one of the key things that help us pass Measure B. Of course, talks about freeing up the general fund. It looks at anywhere from 60 to 80 million potential fees freed up for public services. Also includes the redirecting of funds to possible parks, public safety, libraries, homeless strategies, and also street repairs. So like I mentioned before, we have some time that we'll be going through this process for the next couple of 2 years. So as you see now, we're in the cost of study service we're currently going through right now in the summer 2024. By early of 2025, the city council will find the study, findings of the study will be presented to the city council. I do want to also have people focus on the 45-day public period comment. I'll talk about that shortly. But of course, there's a 45-minute period in which the community gets to decide if whether they want to petition the new fee structure. By the summer 2025, council will consider the fee schedule. And by the summer of 2026, the rollout of services, once approved by city council, of course, will continue to roll out. I'm sorry?
2-year reprieve.
Yeah. So we're tasked with a few things. Of course, we have a lot of public engagement opportunities. We'll be hosting about 27 in-person public meetings, of which, of course, this is one. We have 3 in each council district going throughout the fall, the summer, the fall, and the spring. We'll be hosting 3 virtual meetings, of course, having translation services and the like. I will clue you into the questionnaire. I will have a QR code shortly where I'd like folks to please participate in the questionnaire process. This is where really the case of study fee structure is going to be developed from. So with your input and the input of your neighbors is where we're going to get the feasibility study and how ultimately how much this would cost. So how to provide feedback, of course. We talk about public meetings, focus groups, pop-up events. We have been attending various events throughout the city with the table, community presentations such as this one. Email to the city website, and the questionnaire that I mentioned before. So the cost of service study outcomes is the city cannot charge residents more than the actual cost of service. That was a promise under Measure B. Recommendation to the city council, then council members will decide to either adopt a fee, not adopt a fee, or adopt a portion of said fee. So into my point about the 45-day waiting period, postage will be mailed out to single-family homeowners, and those that will be subjected to the increase of fees. Homeowners will have 45 days to respond, which basically says if opposition exceeds 50%, the fee will not be implemented. So I get a lot of questions about this one. I know members of the community, respective community, maybe had opposed Measure B, but for the sake of democracy, it's important that we understand that if folks do oppose, and over 50% of homeowners within the community oppose the said fee, they're allowed to petition their government.
That's done through just returning the letter that you get.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay, next steps. So of course, please spread information to your friends and to your neighbors. Please participate in all these public conversations and provide feedback. It's important that we understand holistically what members of the community is looking for in this trash collection pickup. Like I mentioned before, it's going to be a long 2 years that we'll be enduring some of this process. So as we weed out the kinks, it's important folks to let us know how they feel, especially in writing, so that we can best meet the needs of San Diego and its constituents. This is the QR code that I'm asking folks to review. Of course, you're also welcome. I believe, Lynn, I gave you the PowerPoint presentation, so yes, folks are encouraged to check that out, scan the QR code, visit our website, contact us, of course, so that we can best meet the needs of what San Diego deserves as we go through this process.
So cleangreensd.org is where you can get that QR code?
Yes, but you're welcome to scan it now if you'd like. I know you received the flyer that I have up in front also has a QR code, okay, cool. So you can scan that guy as well. Of course, this is the cleangreen.sd.org is the website relating to this particular project. And then, of course, the city email address, trash@sandiego.gov. Okay. I know we just finished up. I believe that there is a open house today, actually just ended, but we will be going through a new round of open houses in the next couple of months. So we will be sure to share that when the time comes. But I encourage you to please have healthy discussions as we get through this process and as we endure the next couple 2 years as we come up with a new fee. Open it up for questions.
So what I ask is each person ask one question because there will probably be many, and then we'll circle back to you for any additional questions. Okay.
And if I don't have the answer, I'll come back to you next time. I'll have a response. Go for it.
Are they going to look at the Get It Done app in regards to trash collection to get numbers from people's, putting in a collection mist, whatever?
I'm not sure. I can double check if whether the Fix It app is going to be somehow incorporated into the study. Probably unlikely. I'm not too sure if the folks at the Get It Done app happen to have that same conversation with the Environmental Services Department who's conducting the study. So I can double check. Are you talking about just the number of
Well,
times
get
that it
done
pops up?
It's a city, it's a city app for
Yeah.
San Diego City.
No, I
so
know. It's
they
just
have
different
all the
departments. Does it include all the departments? Is that what?
Yeah,
Okay.
so and it includes environmental.
Sure.
Yeah,
So are you saying that whether if this study also takes into consideration the
yeah,
trash collection issues on the Get Done app?
yeah.
Okay,
It's a really good question.
I'll
Yeah.
double check for you.
Cause it's kind of like a real, the people that take the time to make,
Sure.
like if my recycle's not picked up
Uh-huh.
by 6 o'clock, I'm
Yeah,
gonna put a
post.
thing in saying
Okay.
it was missed and then it gets picked up the next day.
Okay. It's a good question.
Yeah,
I'll double check for you. Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
yeah.
Okay, anyone on
Oh.
Zoom? I was gonna try to see if there was anyone on Zoom.
Anybody
Kind of
on the
switch back and
Zoom?
forth, but
I
okay,
don't know I don't know how
Yes.
to raise my hand.
okay.
Go ahead.
So I was just wondering, since right now we're not being charged for individual trash pickup, are they
Mhm.
considering lowering our tax rate? If we do end up being, having to pay this. Right now, we don't pay. So, and all of our taxes, our local taxes and sales tax, I'm assuming helps pay for this. For the service that they provide. So would they be lowering our sales tax rate if they're going to start charging for a service we've been getting?
Yeah, that, I see a lot of nodding heads. So I'm gonna say no. But I appreciate the question and feel free to direct that to your local council member.
All right, will do.
So this program is in effect in other areas of the city, is what you're saying, with condos and apartments and.
Yeah, a lot of those condos, some of them have already been paying. But yes, it's a citywide, sure.
Yeah, like the businesses, 7-Eleven, they have 2 dumpsters in the parking lot.
And
They're paying.
they're paying for it already.
Yeah.
Anybody else up in Zoom have any questions? I see
Yeah,
a hand.
I have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
for people on fixed incomes,
Mhm.
social security, et cetera. Did I
Yes.
hear you say there might be an opportunity for, discount is the wrong word, but
Well, yeah, ultimately, yes, of course. And that's the idea of the questionnaire that I'm having folks fill out, is to also make sure that we showcase the need in our region. I think, of course, we know what that need will look like based on folks that have a fixed income and that may be retired. But that will definitely be incorporated into the cost of service study.
okay, thank you.
Of course, thank you for the question.
Counter to what this gentleman's saying,
Yes.
my suggestion is charge a flat rate to each individual address.
Right.
Because if they vary what it is, some people bought their own trash cans, so the city doesn't know that they have them.
Mhm.
Encouraging people to minimize their waste, absolutely, that's there. And I'm very much in favor of what that woman was saying in regards to people who are on a limited income.
Of course.
I also will say for disabled veterans that we have, if they're 100% disabled.
Yeah.
Let's weigh what the fee is. These people paid in another way for what we have. Not have the city look at people's individual financial records or count the people in their house, because they'll never get the true
right
count in
number.
the house, too much labor that's there. But if they already exist on another program,
Mhm.
you're on Medi-Cal,
Right.
you have your VA
Yeah.
thing that's already showing
Yeah,
that
the
you're
care
100%.
program.
This way, the individual could show that,
Right.
and we don't have to delve into their personal finance information that they have. But in another case, maybe it could allow for people to put a lien against the property. If we had a law that would allow them to do it. So if they're on the fixed income, but they're the owner occupant of what the home is. I'm not talking about the owner rental, and forget about dealing with the renters. They're here today, they're gone 3 months or 6 months later.
Yeah.
The property owner should be responsible for what it is, or their designated.
Okay, well, I appreciate that feedback. I really appreciate the write-up that you gave me too. I'll be sure to send that over to my colleagues.
Yeah, and if you have time afterwards, I will share with the group some of the other comments I've been
Okay.
sharing.
Okay, and please be sure to do the questionnaire when you get a chance.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
I would hope there's some sort of guarantee of service. Contractual obligation, they're gonna start charging us, because like I watch over my mom who lives many miles away. So it's very inconvenient for me to have to drive over there twice a week.
Yeah.
And then lately, trash half the time, sometimes they pick up and sometimes they don't. So to me, okay, I haven't been charged anything for the service. I have to put in extra effort because she's elderly, she can't move the trash and this and that. And half the time they leave them out in the street. So God forbid she tries, but she does sometimes. If I don't get there soon. In her mind, I can't have my trash can in any street.
My grandmother does the same
So
thing.
what's really frustrating is if you're gonna start charging me, I would like to see some sort of repercussions for not being charged for times it's missed. And are they gonna go through that type of effort?
Sure.
Right now, I can tolerate it because I'm not paying billed. But if I'm gonna start getting billed and I'm making extra trips, I'm sure I'm not the only sub doing this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of trash day. And then you find out, oh, well, they missed it. Well, I gotta go back again.
Sure.
This last weekend, I had to go 3 times.
Oh, wow.
One to put everything out, because it was all free. So they only picked up recycles one day, you know, the next day. So I get to put the recycles back, leave the trash and the other one out. And then it wasn't until Sunday that everything was gone.
But it was amazing. They did come out on Sunday. Yes, absolutely amazing.
You got out on Sunday.
I was impressed.
Well,
Right.
well, I appreciate that. I will tell you, even, so I live in National City and there's been times where they missed us too. Or we didn't put out the trash cans on time and we'll call them and they'll come back and they'll pick it up for us. So I encourage you to make those calls when they don't show up, because they're obligated, they're contractually obligated to show up. But I will be sure to write that in my report, that there should be at least that kind of accountability piece as we go through this process. So I appreciate that.
Do they also, because you're paying for it, do they also offer times to pick up bulky items?
I think that's one thing that they're trying to work into, what that would look like. But that's a part of the questionnaire that we want people to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't start paying for trash, you should get that. I mean, every other county place in
Does that, yeah.
California has that ability if they're
Yeah,
paying.
I mean, look, ultimately, we are starting a bit of a fresh slate here, but a lot of the same services that people benefit from today are going to be kind of grandfathered into what this would look like. But the process of us figuring that out and what people actually need and what they don't need require people to participate in the survey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we're trying to get through that as much as we can, and for people to let us know how they truly feel about what is required and what isn't, and how often people want their trash to be picked up.
I don't want to miss people on the Zoom. Is there any other questions on the Zoom call?
I just had one comment, or that I've noticed, the new greenery trash can trucks. I noticed, because I always stand out and wave at the guys and thank you, try to give them a thumbs up. But those new trucks are just a little bit higher than the ones that we've had. And they're hitting some of the wires when they come through. So
Oh, really? Good.
yeah, so just make sure as they're trying to add more trucks that they check the height. It's the height that, so there's some piece that's a little different apparatus on top, and I just held my breath when it went underneath the Cox cable and
Oh my gosh.
into my house. So
well, that's wild. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
I don't know if it's possible if you could use a get it done scenario to try to report that.
Well, I
Or
get
call
it done
environmental
so busy.
services. Call environmental services. They're usually
Or
great.
call your local council member.
You can call me.
There you go.
He's not doing it.
Let's call Doc.
Residue trash.
Okay.
Okay.
You have another?
Okay, I want to make a comment. I think the folks in here might agree with me. The city of San Diego Diego has demonstrated their inability to collect reasonable fees for services rendered. One, water utilities billing issues. Has anybody ever heard of any of those? Right? Some people haven't gotten a bill for over a year. So development services, the excessive fees for certain permits. That's there. I know personally from a historic sidewalk installation.
Yeah.
They charge me more than what the contractor charged me to put it in. That's there. Business permit renewals in the city of San Diego. They stopped reminding people that you need to renew your permits. So a lot of people, all of a sudden, they look at it and say, oh my God, my permit is 6 months overdue and everything else. And then in the newspaper, it was noted that the number of current permits are down at a lower level right now. So city of San Diego needs to keep it simple for what they're going to do, because our utilities have done kind of some unusual things.
Yes.
Payments. We need to have multiple methods that people can make payments. My question is, do the residents of San Diego trust the city with withdrawals from their banking accounts? I can tell you every person I've asked about that said no. They might have used an expletive with it.
Okay. Or a hand gesture.
And the other thing is, some people do not have bank accounts where they could have it come off of, or they don't have a checking account because Chase or somebody else is going to charge them $50 to do it.
Yeah.
So we need to have a way that they can do there, because if we say, oh yeah, you could use a money order, but a money order I think costs about $2.35. That's another thing that we're taking away from those individuals. So we got to be creative on how I can pay. Could I pay a year's rate or a month?
I appreciate
that. And the other thing is the trash, recycling, and greening pickup personally used as the current schedule. It works for me. I understand about, because I run out to go pick up 3 different neighbors' cans to fold them on in, to be nice. Replacement lids and bins. It's absolutely absurd. The city of San Diego right now, you want a replacement lid for a bin that's older than 10 years because it's been all smashed up. They won't give you one because it's only warranted for 10 years.
You have to pay for the trash.
And for the trash one, you gotta pay for it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's get
And
lit.
there are trucks that are beating the crap.
I know, I did see that one.
Yeah, in the sun, there's a number of other things that go with it there. We need to also remind people about the household hazardous waste disposal options. So they're not accidentally putting it into our black bins.
Right.
Universal waste disposal, batteries, other things there. Arrangements for large item pickup.
Yes.
Maybe it's 1 or 2 vouchers a year to your account for your address. And if you use up those 2, go talk to your neighbor next door and maybe use one of theirs. However, because I think that's going to be cheaper than having these trucks having to go around like we have on Streamview and all the other ones, whack-a-mole to figure out where is this stuff going to be. Please continue with our citywide community dumpster collection events.
Oh yeah, those are
They're very
popular.
helpful at times that are there. Do not penalize this great group, a number of other ones who are doing the community cleanups, separate from the city actions and other things, because they're cleaning up the streets, the gutters, city property, all sorts of things, and they're taking that trash and putting it back into their bins at home. So if we start saying, I'm going to charge you for those 2 bins you're using or other things, or you now have 5 bins in front of your house because you do a lot of community cleanups, we're going to end up penalizing them, and people such as myself will stop doing that.
Okay, fair enough.
I started using the trash cans, I fill up my thing, I'm putting it in that trash can.
I mean, cleaning up the street in front of it where they should have threw it in the trash can in the first place. So it's not a big deal. Anybody on Zoom? Okay. Any additional questions from the floor?
No. Okay.
Comments?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much again for the opportunity. It was lovely to meet you all. If there's any more questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And please fill out the questionnaire at the moment you get the chance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And so I wanted to add everyone that this presentation will be on rolandopark.org website, which includes the QR code for the survey. So please go on in and do the survey, and it'll be there tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so that closes out our meeting. We have nothing else unless there's anything, somebody has comment, questions. Otherwise, thank you. You all have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Are they?
Yeah. Also check.
So the Jets are getting-
So that was my comments that I had turned in before at a.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna go